Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K. It is round two for me and Donovan here on the Demetra K Show. We are live. Yes, I said it. We are live. Earlier, as y'all was watching that video, we were talking about Dr. Cornel West. Go check it out after you're done here. We were not live. We were recorded. But anyway, I shall say the purpose of the Demetra K Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community, to make us an even better people, because we are great people, but we can always strive to do better. Also like to say a big giant thank you to Donovan, the recovering Democrat Sadiq, also known as the Black Yule Brenner. And yeah, show him that bald dome of yours. Also like to say a big giant thank you to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. You are the other side of the conversation. We do provide a link at a certain time for y'all to click on and give us your when I say very brief, I do mean very brief. Some of y'all like to lean on in it. Some of y'all like to say, what had happened was, I'm going to take you all the way back to 1916. We love you nevertheless, but just try to be succinct as possible. Of course, we can have a well-rounded conversation around your comment or question, just to give everybody else a chance to speak. We also have people in the comment section, and we need to make sure they're heard just as much too. We try anyway. So we are going to talk about an unfortunate situation with Ajike. They also call her Ajike Owens, who was deleted by a white supremacist. All they know is her name is Susan. It's a neighbor, and of course we'll get into that. I'll show y'all a video and we'll have a discussion around that. But she needs justice. So Donovan, what say you before we get started?
Before we get started, welcome to the Demetra K weekday video podcast. And you guys see this little scrolling thing at the very bottom here, okay? And it takes a lot of time and effort to put in, make these videos and give you guys this information. I call it a war briefing. And if you guys do desire and want to donate, there's a platform for you to donate on all the different applications. Also, for absolutely free, doesn't cost you a dime. Hit the like button on your way in. Hit the like button, and from there, it'll help the algorithm and do all that other good stuff. And please like, share, and subscribe on your platforms. Demetra jumped out. She's coming back in. There she is. And, this is an interesting thing. I heard about it, but I didn't really read the story on it. So if you guys have some information you guys want to add, please do, so we can get the right information, or the most updated information current up. So let's do it.
Sorry about that. My mouse is very sensitive, and if I just swipe to the right on it, it'll swipe me out. So it may happen again. I don't know.
I told you about going to them swap meets. I told you.
I should also say this, Donovan, you might need to take the lead. We're in the middle of a thunderstorm. It's not raining yet, but y'all know how it goes in the dirty South. So I will come back at the very least on my phone if that does happen. But Donovan, you guys may be in good hands.
Hey, I only need 5,000 signatures to get Demetra off YouTube.
You know what I envision? You guys remember on Boomerang where Jeffrey Holder, I think that was his name, he kept on wanting to come up with the concepts of the videos of the Strong J commercial for Grace Jones, and he kept coming up with this wild stuff. That's Donovan, okay? He liked to do some wild stuff. So anyway, hopefully that doesn't happen. All right, to get serious. Last week, a sister by the name of Ajike, but they call her Ajike rather, I should say her name is Ajike, Owens, was deleted by a neighbor. Sounds like they had an ongoing situation. The neighbor sounds like she was a very problematic woman. And it came to a head last week. And I'm going to show you guys a video. And hello to everybody that came on here. I'll personally address you in just a second. Let me try to find it. Nope, that ain't it. That ain't it. All right, here we go. Hopefully it'll play right, because this thing be tripping. Here we go.
Are visible in the door. Deputies say a woman shot through Friday night, killing a mother after a confrontation involving her kids.
We want to ensure that we get the facts right, especially in a case to this level.
Sheriff Billy Woods addressing the pressure from the community to make an arrest in the days after the shooting. He says an ongoing feud between the shooter and victim, Ajike Owens, led investigators to the Quail Run neighborhood.
Whatever the children were doing, we do know that our shooter was engaged with the children. However, whether it be she was yelling at them, don't know yet.
Owens' own family shared their side of the story, gathered at this church in Ocala on Monday.
She took a personal item, iPad, tablet, electronic device that belonged to a child. He tried to retrieve it. She threw skates at him.
Pamela Diaz says her grandkids told their mom what happened. When she showed up at the door, she was shot.
Her children ran to my house, banging on the door, asking for us to call the police.
Ashley Remy lives across the street from the field where the kids were playing.
This woman has taunted all of our children in this neighborhood.
The sheriff acknowledged there is a history of calls. He says much is still under investigation. He is asking for patience for the children who he says witnessed their mother being shot.
I just want to thank everybody for coming out for my mother.
One little boy shared few words in the aftermath, thanking the community and remembering a woman whose death has left 4 children without their mother.
What I'm asking is for justice. Justice for my daughter.
I did ask the victim's family what justice looks like to them. They said the first step is an arrest. To be clear, the sheriff's office has not named the shooter and their investigation is ongoing. They tell me they are working closely with the state attorney's office and the facts will lead them to the outcome. In Marion County, I'm Catherine Silver, getting results.
Now, there's a lot going on there. Of course, as you saw there, the authorities said that they're not naming the lady, although they have, being the neighbors and the children, have called the lady by her name, first name Susan, is what they're saying, but they haven't said much else about her. Now I'm going to go on with the assumption that it's a white woman for what it sounds like, because again, we have not seen her. But they have been very clear, because I watched a press conference, that they need justice. They did take her into custody, but they let her go. Of course, she's using the whole stand your ground, the castle doctrine theory there. Of course, we learned a lot more about that in 2012, where Trayvon Martin was killed in the same state, Florida, where George Zimmerman said he was standing his ground, even though we've heard a copious amount of times as to what really happened. He wasn't standing his ground. He hunted Trayvon down and did what he did to him. Again, it sounds like the lady in the neighborhood is a problem. There's a history of calls of her tormenting the kids, doing a lot of stuff, and including, as they said, she also threw a pair of skates at the same child. Now, I should also say that same child went to the door with his mother, and he watched his mother be deleted. And of course, I'm using the word deleted because y'all know sometimes YouTube be tripping, but y'all know what I mean by that. It's not to be disrespectful. He saw the lady delete his mother. She shot through the door. So the door was never open. She was never in any grave danger. Now, of course, some people are saying, oh, well, she was confrontational and all this other stuff. But her mother and everybody else are saying everybody has a Ring camera, including that of the door she went to. Y'all could go look at this footage and see exactly what happened. Whether she was being confrontational or banging on the doors or any of that stuff, because, they're going to try to clean it up for they folks. But they're saying that's not what she did. She simply went and knocked on the door and said, hey, and I'm paraphrasing, you have my son's iPad. And then next thing they knew, she was shot through the door. Now, they also said that a lot of people, the neighbors, were afraid to even try to go help her because they just saw, actually the lady had just shot her. So they were scared to go up to the property and try to help, right? So the authorities there said that a trespassing call that came in. So, of course, they tried to make it seem like AJ was trespassing upon the lady's property. But I'm thinking if you're behind closed doors, you're not in imminent danger. But they know all they have to do is invoke those laws. But we've also seen in the state of Florida where Black people have tried to use that law, the castle doctrine, and it did not work. They ended up going to jail or, being arrested or whatever the case is. But when it's white folks, well, she said she was in danger. Now, the first they really tried to go full throttle with the standing and ground thing. But of course, as this case gets more and more attention, now they want to investigate. They want to give it a full investigation to see what happens and things like that. But the unfortunate part is there are 4 babies that do not have their mother anymore due to a person that has been a problem, and they've allowed her to be that, to get away with it. And as y'all saw, the other lady, she looked like she was a white woman. To me, she did. I don't know, maybe she's not. But she also said, gave eyewitness to the lady being a problem in the neighborhood. And they just allowed her to continue to do that. And unfortunately, AJ has been murdered. And so, of course, Benjamin Crump and a whole lot of other people are involved. And they're asking for justice for AJ. You are not going to let this lady walk. And they said, this is the crazy part, too. A lot of the neighbors said, yeah, we saw the white woman. I'm assuming, again, it's a white woman. I heard, we haven't seen her, but I'm just saying that. She's sitting on her porch drinking coffee the day after she was arrested, and they let her out. It's just like, you know, business as usual. I'm sitting up here having a good old cup of Folgers after I just took this black woman up out of the world and away from her children. So we want to talk about what happened to AJ. And from what I understand, too, it is the 30th birthday of Breonna Taylor as well. Another black woman that was deleted by white supremacy and did not get any justice. So we want to make sure that AJ gets justice, and her children and her mother get justice, because you cannot go around shooting black people and then saying, well, I was standing my ground. So Donovan, what say you? Then I'm gonna get into the comment section.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with everything that you said in that situation. Again, Breonna Taylor anniversary, Sandra Bland. I mean, all these things that are happening down there in the South, things to me that's another reason why I can't be there. I can't do it. But it's not the South itself; it's the people that occupy the South. The people, that we talk about. But wasn't there a black woman that stood her ground against her boyfriend or ex-husband, and then she went to jail regardless? They had video, they had everything there was, and she could not stand your ground, even though she was justified to do so. So we got to get in our heads, and I'm not saying it's anybody's fault, but we got to realize, and Demetria used to say this a lot back in the day, and it hit me, and I stopped being closed-minded in regards to that. These laws are not written for us. These laws are written for them. And we got to stop. I'm not saying we go out there and just do what we want to do, whatever. That's not going to work for us, because we're behind enemy lines. But, the bottom line is it's even like our politicians. You get the black politician in there and they act like they can do what the white politicians are doing. They can't. It's just like we can't do what, as regular people do what we're supposed to do. They use these laws not only to kill us and make us, kill each other in regards to, who does what and what it is. But when it comes to Miss Becky and Miss Ann, hey, if they say that their life is on the line, whatever, it is to believe absolutely without a doubt. And it's just a sad situation, because now you've got young people who don't have their mother. But the sad thing is, think about the mental trauma that those kids are going to go through dealing with the violence that they see. And again, I've said this last show, the show before that, and I say it periodically within our shows. We just go from tragedy to tragedy like it's no big deal. But let the other man, instead of the brother man, go through a situation like that. It's a mental condition. It's something that they want to throw money at to give them all the resources they need to get into their mental. But for us, it's just like, well, you guys just have to deal with it. And it's just so sad. And wow, when are we going to stand up? When are we going to raise up and say this? Enough is enough. Not this civil rights stuff. I'm tired of being tired. I'm talking about really saying, this is it. We are done. I see young people at protests, like during the Black Lives Matter protests and all this other stuff. They would hold up these signs saying, we are not like our ancestors. One thing you can say about our ancestors is they stood up. They were willing to take the beatings and whatever, which I thought was ridiculous, but they did it. All we're doing is holding up signs. That's all we're doing. When are we going to have enough and start holding our own elected servants accountable and all the other stuff? It's just sad. I mean, we just hear these stories over and over again, and it just goes on. I mean, it's almost like school deletions now. It is so common that it's just a part of everyday American fabric.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Brother Reggie, for that. I did have a typo in the last, the Dr. Cornel West video. I had 2 R's in president. I was really trying to get that video up fast, but thank you so much for letting me know. And hello to everybody that's on here. Big Rich, how you doing? I see you guys put her name in the chat. So her name is known Susan. Just say her name was Susan Lorenix or something like that. And Big Rich, how you doing? Says she did the same thing that man did here in Michigan, shot through his door and shot young black boy for knocking at his door. Yeah, Ralph Yarrow. He was actually at the wrong door. He went to pick up his siblings, and yeah, he shot him through the door, and then he opened the door and then did it 2 more times. And thank God that young brother survived. But yeah, Mr. Pirate Brain, how are you doing? We are doing well. How about yourself? Let's see here. Mary, you say Susan had thrown skates at her children. You would be upset too. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like they said this has been going on for like 2 years with this lady and the neighbor. So she's a problem, you know, but they allow her to continue to get away with it. And we know why, you know what I mean? But that would infuriate me to know that after she got out, she on her porch drinking coffee like, and what y'all gonna do about it? You know, that was her whole attitude, right? Bruce Tracker, how you doing? It says Carolyn Dunham not getting arrested. Is she not helping either? So you talk about Carolyn Bryant. Yeah, she died maybe 2 months ago to this point. Yeah, that's it's kind of reminiscent of that. You know, that's what they do. They create harm to black people and they get away with it, right? Red Ninja, how you doing? It says Florida statute robbery by sudden snatching the murder. Shaking my head. And Mary Lee say Ben Crump is asking for money. And Ben Crump should be asking for money. Ben Crump is a civil rights attorney, because a lot of times people say, "Oh, he hasn't won any cases." That's not his job. He's a civil attorney, a civil rights attorney, where he is more on the punitive side, and when a civil is punitive, and so he pursues money on behalf of the victim's family. So he's doing his job. He's worth like $188 million. Now, of course, you guys know Benjamin Crump came on the scene during the Trayvon Martin case. And whether we like it or not, Benjamin Crump, you know, I know he's been called an ambulance chaser. I guess that's subjective, but he does bring awareness. He's one of a lot of people who bring awareness to cases that ordinarily would not have awareness brought to him. And, you know, she's got 4 children. So yeah, I hope he is asking for money. Of course, you guys know in any lawyer situation, they're going to get about 1/3 of the settlement or whatever it is. So it's not just being Crump. It's just the way it works. Skin therapist guru, how you doing? You say what? And Robin, how you doing? It says the community know where she lives if they really want justice. But hey, let's wait on the judicial system to deliver justice. I ain't saying nothing, but I hear what you're saying. Brother Samuel, how you doing? It says Disney gives Florida a good face. However, Florida is one of the most racist states in America. It absolutely is. And it's going to get even more worse. And you're going to really see Florida expose his hand, especially as Ron DeSantis is running. And he's, you know, really, he's like to the right of the right. You know, he's just trying to do all the most KKK-ish things that he can.
Well, you know, remember I was telling you when I was stationed in Alaska, they had a saying in Alaska, an armed society is a polite society. Very, very, very rare shootings happen in Alaska. Very, very rare, because everybody knows, well, you really don't know who's armed and who's not armed. So it does happen. But, you know, I'm a big advocate of telling people, if you could legally own a firearm, please go out and do so. It is getting ugly out here in these streets.
Hello, Miss Patty Brown. Yes, the sister's the one that shot in the air. Now, she was saying that she was being abused by her husband or whatever, and I think they were trying to give her like 10 years or something like that. She did some, but I think that eventually they did let her out. But that was right around the same time of George Zimmerman standing his ground. You know what I mean? So we know those laws aren't really, they're not for us. Tawana, how are you doing this evening? And Top Notch Rocker, how are you doing? Let's see here. Marshawn, you say sounds about right. And Pamela, that you said where it happened, Ocala, Florida. I think that's how you say it, as where it happened. All right, let me skip down a little bit. Melanin on code, how you doing? It says cut the check. Yep. Uh, exactly. Thank God she didn't harm the kids. Can you imagine? They said that, her son was running around saying they shot my mom, they shot my mom. Now, of course, it's behind the closed door. So he's probably really not knowing, who's doing it, but he's trying to get help because that lady shot his mama right in front of him. They said that they tried to help her and save her. The ambulance did come about 5 minutes later, but she succumbed to her injuries at the hospital. So it's just crazy. And Joanne, how you doing? Says these boys may grow up and deal with Susan, aka white supremacist Karen. Yeah, but even as young boys, they've been dealing with it, right? Mr. Piebrain says, look at the lady that sent her brother and friends to kill her football player boyfriend at 12 o'clock at night. And when he defended himself, he is on trial. Yep. And Mary says, your worst won't vote. In fact, not feeling says, what are you gonna say? Facts Not Feelings just says, and how you doing? It says, until blacks start following the Bible word for word, eye for eye, these deleters will keep deleting us. It's that simple.
But isn't it the Bible that is really working against us in regards to us doing what we need to do? Because, back in slavery time, the master would let you, they would justify slavery because it was in the Bible. And they would say, see, and then they would make the slave people forgive them. And, they're supposed to teach them forgiveness no matter who does them wrong and stuff like that. Isn't that one of the problems within our community? We are so ingrained in the Bible that we believe it more than the oppressor does.
Well, not only that, you'll also have some people who will say, well, we don't ascribe to the Old Testament because it says that in the Old Testament, eye for an eye, tooth for tooth. Basically, you return what you have coming back to you, whatever the case is. But a lot of people say, well, we don't go by the Old Testament anymore. But I always say, well, why is it in there still? Then rip it out. Rip the Old Testament up out the Bible and then only go from the New Testament. You know what I mean?
Right. So basically, if you don't go by the Old Testament, they're saying that Leviticus teaching you how to live and wash yourself and clean yourself, that has no application. The 10 Commandments have no application. Don't kill, don't steal, all that stuff. So that has no application. Oh, it makes sense to me now. You want to know why? Now I see why lawlessness is going around all in the earth, because we don't ascribe to the Old Testament anymore.
Right. Facts Not Feeling says it's Crump's job to ask for money. Yeah. He's not a criminal attorney or a defense attorney. It's as far as in a criminal trial, he's a civil attorney. So that's kind of what he's there for. And Easy say, do you understand police was called 18 months and the fatal mistake young sister made was fall for the setup by knocking on the door? The time is when she should have called the police. Yeah. And, we are getting to that point to where it's like, maybe I shouldn't be walking up on the houses of white people. I know that I would think twice before doing it, especially if I'm having a problem with it. But, she's a mom. She probably followed her motherly instinct. Maybe she was like, I'm sick of this always doing something. She got because it wasn't like the child left the iPad at her house. It was in the park, like an open area. So it was left there. And Susan took it upon herself to take it and taking it to her house, opposed to just leaving it or whatever, or just leaving it alone. She took it upon herself to take it and then, become the controller over that property. But you're right. We got to use a little bit more wisdom now. We can't just be going up on the porches of these people because they're bloodthirsty people and they're looking for an opportunity to do what they do to us. It's just a fact. The fact that she's seen on her porch the next day drinking coffee, that tells you right there she had a very good night's sleep and, she was unbothered by what she had just did to that black woman in front of her black children. So, yeah, we have to do use wisdom. So you're absolutely right, Easy. And Bobby says we got to handle our biz eye for an eye. We'll just leave it at that. Michael, how you doing? He says it's not just the South, it's a nationwide and global, and they're just 9 to 10% of the population. They're the true minority in ruling our planet reflection time. Yeah, because there's more black and brown people, as they would say, on the planet than there are them. William Spirit Claw, how you doing? Good evening to you as well. Facts Not Feeling says justice starts with the response of the family, right? Ain't no praying, ain't no we gonna, hope and wish to Jesus and all that justice is served. No, they need to hold steadfast and demanding that woman is brought to justice and they put her under the jail. That's Capital One murder. That's not standing your ground. Standing your ground is when you are in imminent danger. You was behind closed doors and you shot through the damn door. What part of that says that you were in danger? You know? Mike says, I'm out here in Texas visiting right now from Florida. Trust me, they stay strapped out here. Oh, yeah. And Winspear Claudia say Texas is armed and people get shot daily. You know what's funny?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Living out here, I have never seen any. Well, I saw one person, but I know them. They were strapped, but it's not like you go into a store and you see. I haven't. I'm not saying they don't. I just haven't seen people with guns and stuff just on display.
And my question is with that. Now, in Texas, you don't need a permit to carry a weapon. In Texas, I think that's the law there. But the thing is, notice that the Republicans are, really heavy into being armed and all that other stuff. But the Democrats are like getting rid of guns and all this and disarming the people. Now, from the way I've seen it, you've got Democrats that we're just shooting and killing and all these people that are maiming each other and stuff with and it's not, I'm not saying it's the Democratic Party itself, but it seems like there's more people who ascribe to the Democratic Party that are just being murdered wholesale left and right between themselves.
So Simone B, you said I've been to Ocala, Florida, because I used to live about 30 minutes north of the city in Gainesville, and I only went there to shop. So you're saying it's kind of known that they got some issues up there. And apparently you say Florida is terrible and only going to get worse with DeSantis doing the most wicked crap. Yeah, he is unapologetic about it too. And Ataya, you say she did harm the kids by shooting the mother. That affects them in unseen ways. Yeah, they'll be affected by that for the rest of their lives. How do you even deal or heal with seeing that happen to your mother? So for that alone, they need justice. They need that. They need to know that, that woman did that to her mom, but the system that they say is, lady justice is blind or whatever the case is. They need to also see that system do its job to get them justice for what that lady did. Big C, if I didn't already, how you doing? It says white supremacy in California is just as racist in the South. You better believe it. L Boogie, how you doing? Long time no see. How you been doing? Mr. Pirate Brain says it's the New Testament that works against us. Yes, that's that. Pray and forgive and all that. In the Old Testament, they was like, oh, okay, hold my beer.
Hold my beer, because in the Old Testament, if you were LGBTQ, that wasn't acceptable. It was very rigid, and everything was black and white in the Old Testament. It was either this or that. Period.
Absolutely. And let's see here, Arniva, how you doing? It says, it is our misunderstanding of the Bible that keeps us down. And Andre, how you doing? It says, but Frederick Douglass and other abolitionists used the Bible to eradicate slavery and Jim Crow. Is it eradicated? Now, I know the institution of slavery, the way our ancestors experienced it, is no longer there, but Jim Crow, is it gone? Mary says, write about the Bible, you're an atheist. Okay. And Bobby says, eye for an eye is the only way. Cyrus, how you doing? He says, you should follow the last book to come down, the Quran. Yeah, my dad actually gave me his Quran. I'm actually needing him to kind of teach me how to navigate through it just a little bit easier. So I'm going to actually see him next week where he can help me do that. And Big Richie says, but the same ones who taught us the Bible used to come to black barbecues, and we were the main course. And then they went to church. Yep. Yeah, those little famous picnics, right? Simone, you crazy. Talking about ain't no gangsters in Ocala. Robin, you says people pick and choose what Bible scriptures they want to live by. I strongly believe in eye for an eye and is uncompromising and unapologetic about it. There you go. Brother Jonelle, how are you doing? And Michael, how you doing? He says, stop begging for justice. I totally agree with you. Shirley, how you doing? He says, I do believe in the Old Testament. And Andre says, if the kids never got to get to Susan, someone else may become the scapegoat. Olivia, and how you doing? By the way, it says the big payback is coming soon. Hallelujah. Joanne says, Donovan, that was the slave Bible where they only had 2 chapters of Deuteronomy. Scary not to believe the word of God. Mama Deb, how you doing? He says the Bible has been adulterated by Europeans. So which part is it true and which part is a lie? I totally agree with you. And Shiloh, how you doing? Says, I don't blame the sister for making a human mistake with the best interest at heart. What we learn from this is to get a police escort anytime we go into those folks' area and document everything. Yeah, they sound like it's been going on for 2 years. So she probably in never a million years thought that her life would be taken from her just from asking for to get her his tablet back. But yeah, I don't blame her either. It's just like a motherly instinct, right? Facts Not Feelings says, Black America keep trying to integrate in America. This is the problem. If we accept that we are separate, we will do and be better separate. Don't go to these people's homes. Yep. And Easy says, D and Don, we still need to learn how to control our emotions and not get easily triggered into these situations. Yeah, I totally get it. But I also get, she's probably like, I paid hard on money for that. It's mine. She has no business having it. She maybe thought, okay, she's a jerk, but she'll give it back, right? So, but you're right. We should be a little bit more strategic when it comes to them. We have to be. Mary says, let me rephrase that. Ben Crumb shows up when there's someone, he can use. Well, let me ask you this. Do you think that when he does show up, those people do deserve attention? Because there's a lot of cases that would not have gotten attention if it wasn't for people like Ben Crump, Lee Maris, Sean Kings, and the like. So I'm not necessarily mad at him for showing up because those people need justice. And he's no different than a lot of other high-powered attorneys. Yeah, it needs to be a little bit of meat on the bones. Not to say that other people don't need justice, but for them, yeah, they're like, okay, well, how can I really see? It's like what's in it for me relationship, right? I'm gonna help y'all, but what's in it for me too? So, yeah, and I'm sure. I was gonna say, and I'm sure Ben Crump has helped a lot of people pro bono. So.
Sure. I mean, look at Gloria Allred. Nobody really says anything when she shows up. With women have their, accusations and things like that. And in some cases, she was, it was totally false or whatever. But she shows up because she brings a lot of attention to that particular case.
Yeah. Andre says the Bible also says, love thy neighbor as thyself, pray for discernment. Absolutely. So the Bible says a whole lot of stuff. Unfortunately, some people just kind of cherry pick the Bible to suit their own narrative. So you're absolutely right. Robin, you say, I just wish she was prepared if she was going to go over there. I believe Susan baited her over there. Yeah, I mean, she probably did.
Okay, can I ask a question? I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm new to the story. Was the father there? Was her husband there? Was her boyfriend there? Fellas, where are the maybe he was at work. I don't know. But again, why is it that the mother has to go over, you know what I mean? In a situation like that, when it has to deal with a missing item or something like that, isn't that a father's type of area where he should go in and say, hey, my boys, things over there? We're always talking about, the women got to do this. The women got to do that. The women got to work. The women got to take care of the kids. The women got to go get the laptop. Where's the father? Where's the uncle? Where are the men to handle situations like this, to which I believe that's an area under the men's jurisdiction?
Yeah. And who was that said that? Facts Not Feelings, you're absolutely right. The family does need to set the tone. Don't get in there kumbaya and we're going to pray on it and we won't pray for Susan. And no, don't be forgiving and praying. And,
Can I give you a hug?
None of that. No hugs. No, none of that stuff. None of that. You need to say, I want y'all to set it off. Okay. You got my permission to set it off because y'all know how they do. The authorities send the family out there. Okay, just go tell them we're pursuing justice, but we want peace. Let's just do this in a peaceful manner. They send them out there to do that. See, if they was, God forbid that happened to me, I'd be like, I will do no such a thing. In fact, I will go out there, but it ain't going to be the message you want me to give. You ain't going to want me to say what I want to say. So, Elevate My Mind. How you doing? He says, peace, fam. We need another migration from a lot of these states. Florida, Texas is known for them folks getting away with more murders than a lot of other states. Yeah, especially when it is to the benefit of their people. And Michael says, you hate me. It's vice versa. It's our fault, period. And Ataya, you say, you never know when you can be civil and knock on the door or say excuse or disagree. Regardless, the shooter in this story is and was wrong 100%, right? Andre says, and Islamic Catholic makes sense to me. And Shiloh says, We always need to remember that white supremacy is a coward at heart. They love to play games. Also, the judge sealed the records on Ralph Yarl's shooter. Well, we know that he's a very old white supremacist. For what I understand, they did arrest and charge him. So, but we really haven't heard much about it, right? They did say that Ralph, he did some sort of, it was like a walk or something to bring awareness to something. So he is up and walking around, which is amazing, especially what happened to him. Brother Samuel says, our indoctrination requires for us to forgive our open enemy and slay each other. Yep, come out of her, my people. You ain't lying. And Shiloh said, is there a way to find out the address of the woman who lives next door or right around the deceased sister's address? Oh, they know where she lives. I'm sure the people know. But the question is, now what? But they know where she's at. D. Griffin says, let's hope he doesn't become president. And who was that? Probably somebody you mentioned. Who? Oh, DeSantis. Yeah. I think he's even too much to the right of most conservatives. And, they like Trump. Trump is whooping them by double digits now. If the election was today or the primaries, they will select Trump. But yeah, DeSantis, he going into the real underbelly of white supremacy, right? By just he's taking it back to slavery with a lot of the things that he wants. So I think even some of those, the racists is like, that's a little too racist for me. So, unfortunately, he runs the danger of turning off people in his own base. I mean, Trump is a douchebag, don't get me wrong, but damn, he ain't that, cold with it. So I don't think Ron DeSantis will be running for nothing or winning anyway. Let's see here. And hi, Rain, how you doing? Big Rich says, has anyone noticed when they have gun buybacks is only cities where Black people live? Yeah, they want to give you a $15 gift card to a grocery store for your guns. But the thing is, we need guns. We just need to educate ourselves on how to use them, right? But guns help you protect yourself. What sense does it make that everybody else has their guns and you don't? And Facts Not Feeling says, you do that. My mom, you do that to my mom, I'm getting even. Absolutely. King of Sorrows. He says she had stolen property, the child's tablet, and knowing the mother would want her child's property back. It literally seems like the victim was lured into that situation. She may have been. You guys absolutely right. When's Fairclaw, you say? Florida is known for having issues, hence the term Florida man. And Easy says, I can feel the tension when out in public and being strapped is a necessity. And I'm strapped 365 and advise all Black women, young and old, to get strapped. You better believe it. Mary says, and I still see a lot of us telling others to vote Democrat or don't, right? Vote blue no matter who, right?
Red. Right. And I'm all for women getting strapped and stuff, but that means, fellas, you better get your stuff together. You better get your stuff together.
Absolutely. Well, don't be too busy, L Boogie. So I'm going to scroll down just a little bit so I can catch up. And then I'm going to put the link in the comment section if you guys want to comment. Joseph, how you doing? He says, they make laws for them to get away with murder. We have to be smarter before running up on them. Yes, indeed. Complex Blackness, how you doing? He says, fatal funnel, never stand in the doorway in a tense situation. This is taught to, it says LE in military. Says, if I go to someone's house to confront them, I will knock and get out of the way. Remember, don't stand. Yeah. You know what's funny is that's normally what I do. I'm not, because I was in sales. And so I was in sales back in the day. You had to get it out the mud. You had to knock on people's doors. So yeah, I would knock and I would move back, or out of the way, not all up on the doorway. Because some people ain't going to want to open the door if you, how you doing? Step back, give them some space. So absolutely. Bobby says, let someone do that. To one of my kids, my family members, are gonna scorch the earth. Yeah, but see, they know we won't do anything like that, right? Let's see who else came on here. And then I'm gonna open up the link. I just want to catch up. Arneva says the Quran was revealed to correct the corruption of the Bible. Okay. Soundman, BK11, how you doing? It says, big ups, Miss K, long time. It says me, no, check in, and you gone good. Has always been a big up yourself, mama. So I think you're trying to say good job. Thank you. Facts Not Feeling says, don't get me wrong. I only said that about the Bible to get cowards who talk about forgive and forget to get through it to their thick heads. There is no forgive or forget when it comes to anti-Black. You better believe it. All right, so skipping down, Mr. Piebrain says, yeah, Ben Crump has the victims forgiving the oppressor. That's what I don't like. I don't know. Is it him that's doing that? I don't know if he is or he's not, but is he the one that's doing it? Let's skip down so I could catch up and open this link. Sean, how you doing? Says, I wish she had called the cops. Yep. And Powerful Empress, how are you today? Easy says, where is the absent dad? I agree, Donovan. I haven't heard anything about the dad. Of course, all the information is, coming out. So I'm sure we'll hear about them or him eventually. But they said that she was a good mom, that she, would do anything for her children, and she took good care of them. So just sad. Brother Reggie says, I was wondering that too. Where is the father? Jan Michael says, aren't the kids out of school for summer? Possibly dad was at work. Yeah. But I think the thing is, though, we haven't seen the dad at any of the press conferences, but you never know. Maybe he just doesn't want to be. No, because the mom, I watched the press conference and the mom said that she was a single mom. So it doesn't sound like the dad is in the home with them. I'm not saying he's not in their lives, but he's not in the home. Raphael, how you doing? He says, I need street justice like they do in Chicago. Yes, indeed. All right, I'm gonna skip down a little bit just so I could catch up. I don't mean to skip over all you guys' comments, but I'll never catch up. Mike says, if I'm having a 2-year feud with a person, I personally would not go in their property, period, but trust they'd feel my wrath smarter ways. Yeah, it had been going on for 2 years, not just with her, but with the other neighbors as well. Sound Man says, we talk about Eric Adams, my New York mayor, giving billions to border people. Yep, ain't gonna keep doing it until Black people say enough. We're not voting for you anymore. Simone say Ocala is a small town. Okay. Rick says, I pray for that sister, but we have to learn when we go to talk to anyone, hope the best, but be prepared for war. Maximo, how you doing? It says he's not going to get to be president. Those on the right that have sense see him as a clown. They do. That's what I'm saying. He you know how we call people in our community a raccoon? Well, he's that for them, whatever they call him over there, a clown, I would guess. But yeah, they like, man, you're doing too much. And D. Griffin says, we already at Jim Crow with Joe Biden. You better believe it. Melanin on Cody says, DeSantis taking Trump's playbook to the next level. Exactly. Olivia says, we woke now and the forces of darkness is running scared. And Michael Daniels to say facts indeed. All right, skipping down. I know I keep saying that. Again, I don't mean to skip over everybody's comments, but I just want to catch up. Black America, how you doing? So the Democrats have never said get rid of guns. They said to get them from your black behind, but you're right about that. They have never said get rid of them. They do talk about gun reform and stuff like that, but of course, they will set up the buyback programs in our neighborhood, but no, they ain't talking about getting rid of them because a lot of them say they are for, two-way rights. So, absolutely. DSB, how you doing? It says, what are we going to have to do is start blasting through our doors and choking out white supremacists out. And don't cry, time out when we go ham on white supremacy. Now, you can't do that. It does make sense, though. But you know what? When that does start happening, then they're going to be reevaluating those laws, right? But you know how that works. And Perry, how you doing? It says the United States is racist, period. And GB Lifetime Videos, how you doing? Salute to you as well. And Easy says, D, I think that passive behavior of forgiveness and praying is weak, defeated, and throwing in white flag mentality. Yeah, because we just, as Brother Samuel said, we are conditioned to do that. OG Patrice, how you doing? Greetings to you as well. Yeah, Simone, move to the side. Knock, knock. How you doing? Like I said, I like to move back. Ataya said, if dads could fix everything, our society will look different. That's the dangerous thing about all of this, being unrealistic, thinking you have more power than you do. Now, that right there is the truth. Okay, and Brother Samuel, you say, In the Holy Quran, in Surah on chapter 2, 178, it reads as follows, 178, oh, you have believed, retaliation is prescribed for you in the manner of the slain, the free for the free, and the slave for the slave, and the female for the female. But if remission is made to one by his aggrieved brother, prosecution for blood money should be according to usage, and payment to him in a good manner. This is an alleviation from our Lord and a mercy. Whoever exceeds the limits after this will have and then it cut off. So I can't read the rest.
Yeah,
of
I was
it.
always told in the Bible, even Jesus in the New Testament said that it is okay to have an eye for an eye. It is better to forgive. That's what Jesus said. That's what it was. I used to be an altar boy. It's better to forgive. But if you must have justice or revenge, you can only have no more than what was done to you. So an eye for an eye or tooth for tooth, something like that, paraphrasing, something like that.
Yeah, and that's the law of the land too. You can't do more to a person that was done to you in most cases, right? So yeah, it all has roots in something. All right, so skipping down, and then I'm gonna open up the link. Just trying to see anybody that I did not already see. No, GB Lifetime. I know who you meant. You said Jonathan, but you meant Donovan. I know who you meant. Okay, let's see. Elevate my mind. You say it's so past tense, unimportant for people to keep asking, where's the dad? The incident already happened. So where is your daddy? Oh, Lord. Kenneth, how you doing? Says standing her ground. Not. Absolutely. And Sherry-Ann, how you doing? Says if she's dead, prayers won't help her, but for the rest of the family to rally for justice. Yep. And let's see here. Okay, I just want to read this. Okay, City University of New York, summa cum laude. You say, I'm not going to take you skipping my comment personally, but we got to start addressing this issue where our women will click up with 5-0 police as soon as they spoiled behind can't get their way. Yeah, in some cases, some people, sisters will call the police unnecessarily, but there's some cases where sisters need to call the police. So I don't agree with calling the police on anybody unless it's absolutely necessary. Now, if you call the police because you can't get your way, you're weaponizing the police. And there's been plenty of cases where people have regretted doing it. Oh, I didn't know they was going to do that to them, and all that other stuff. So it does tie people's hands. When especially in our community, it's like, damn, the popo probably really need to talk to him or her, depending on who's calling the police. But if I call them, it may not end up good. It might go overboard, right? Because we've seen that happen a lot in our community. So yeah, that does happen.
Well, just think of just a basic traffic stop. How many black men have been murdered and black women have been murdered just in a basic traffic stop when there was no reason to stop them?
Yes, and Robin, you said Eric Adams is asking homeowners to open up their homes to illegal immigrants and will be paying the homeowners stimulus payments. Why not ask them to open up their homes to people that are homeless? You don't know them either. You know what I mean? And pay them to do it. Or better yet, the money that you're going to give to the people, give it to the homeless people so they can get up on their feet or whatever, give them free housing or whatever. But see, now it's just gone into way silly season, and they're making a mockery out of black people, the ones that put them in office. So it's up to us to show them Eric Adams needs to be a one-time mayor, and Brandon Johnson and all the rest of them.
Well, speaking of Eric Adams, he was a surrogate for Biden, and good old Master Biden took him off of the surrogate list. How many of you guys heard about that?
Right. And hey, Asha, how you doing? And I'm not trying to skip you guys, so I'm trying to acknowledge everybody that's come on here just so I could catch up and then open up the link. Kennedy says, first, I would have called Ray and them. Truth Seeker, how you doing? Says, tell your guests to stop misquoting the Bible. Okay.
Wait. With so many versions of the Bible, how do you know I'm misquoting it? Just a question. There's so many versions of the Christian Bible. How do you know I'm misquoting it?
Easy. You say, I just want and wish some black men would step up and defend and protect our women when in need. Yeah, you're going to get yourself in a little bit of hot water with that one. True Seeker says we should not refer to this incident as a SYG, and forgive me, I don't know what that is. DSB says, and are all of our sisters getting protection? A man may not always be around to protect you. Yeah, in that case too, you have to move with wisdom. You know, in the Nation of Islam, they tell women to move wisely. You know, don't put yourself in situations where you may not be able to protect yourself, especially don't be out there at night by yourself and, you know, all those things. If you need to go out at night, go with a man, or, you know, go with company. Don't just be out in them streets, right? Big Hair, how you doing? It says the woman stole her son's iPad. That is still stands your ground. Well, that's what they're trying to say, right? And that she was trespassing is what really what they're trying to say. And Tito, how you doing? Says too much like right. Michael says we can without even touching them want to say can't say want to say here, because trust me, they're on this topic listening. Real talk. They study us, my beloved people. Yeah, that's why I'm careful with some of the things that I put up on the screen, some of the things that I say, because, you know, they being YouTube, they don't like a lot of stuff that is said. So we just have to be careful. Again, not skipping you guys' comments on purpose. Okay, I got to the bottom. Where'd it go? OG says that Demetria K, I've already called the Florida Police Department. They're demanding to the arrest of that racist ish. I told them I'll keep calling and emailing until we get results. Yep, that's what it is. We got to keep pressure on. D. Griffin says, Demetria, that is why we need to police our own neighborhoods. Absolutely. And it looks like they live in I guess a mixed neighborhood.
Yeah, but even some of the black cops we do have, the few that are patrolling our neighborhood, they're worse, as bad as the white cops.
Right. Soundman says, and when we see you see these drill rappers in Brooklyn get arrested, it's because of Eric Adams' son, who is a drill rapper. For real? Oh, wow. You learn something new every day.
Anybody know whatever happened to Bishop Bling Bling?
I want to say he got in trouble for something he did. And that man was doing all kinds of stuff, but, you know, because that's Eric Adams' friend too. So, you know, maybe he's still up in the church, but I haven't heard anything else about him. And Michael says, and let's support Black media like this. It's power also. 100. Thank you so much. And you're absolutely right. Well, thank you, City University of New York. I appreciate that. And Joanne, you say, Donovan, some of us know the word. It's down in us. You were misquoting. Okay. What was that? I don't even know what that was at this point.
Yeah,
what was that?
Well, again, like I said, I hope I said I was paraphrasing, but Demetria understood where I was going with when I was saying with that. But the point is, what I'm saying is, I think that's part of our problem. Is in Christianity, there are so many different Bibles and sects within the Christian thing. Nobody knows what's really going on. Now, this is one of the reasons why I follow Islam. Number one, for the discipline. But you can go to Singapore Islamic, you can go to the Middle East Islamic, you can come here to the United States Islamic. There's one book, the Quran. One, period. No deviations, no nothing. And that's, to me, the difference between the confusion within the Christian faith, in my opinion, is part of the problem. Nobody knows what is it all here or is it not all here? Is this part of it or is this some of it? So for anybody to tell me that I'm misquoting the Bible, no, I might be misquoting your Bible, but I might be dead on with my Bible.
Simon, I didn't know Rissa Islam had, I think her name, his child, don't get me mixed up, Flame Monroe. I didn't know that they were on his show, so I might have to check that out. I don't even know what was said, but I do know Flame Monroe is trans. But he says, I know I'm a man, and he does not agree with what a lot of the trans people are doing, trying to take over womanhood and all of that. So maybe that's why RZA had him on the show, because he's very outspoken against his own community in the things that they're trying to do. So maybe that's why. I don't know though. Don't quote me. All right. So yes, move with wisdom. You said move with wisdom, get you some heat. Absolutely. And so you're saying, Big Hair, you called, they didn't answer. Yeah, I'm sure they're like, we know who it is. Don't answer. And Shirley says, we are not Christians here. At City University of New York, it says, ideally, a woman would have a man looking out for her needs and a brotherhood of men to help one another accomplish this feat. That's the way it's supposed to work, right? Let's see here. Simone says Ocala has one exit. Oh, wow. Off the interstate. That should give a picture of how small the city is. And you ain't got to tell me twice. D. Griffin said, isn't there over 2,000 versions of the Bible? Easily. I would imagine Black America. So you were referring to somebody else. Mike says, I don't even bother with these churches. The last time I went to a church, some sister came fake Holy Ghost twerking with the collection basket in her hand, telling me she knows I have more in my pocket. She thought the twerking was going to get you to loosen up your pockets, make you think you was at the strip club. Oh, that's funny. Fun Haven, 1976, how you doing? Says this isn't a Christian problem. Even Islamics believe in Jesus, which is true. Brother Reggie, you say Pastor Bling was arrested in December 2022, but arrested on a $500,000 bond. He's back to deceiving folks in Brooklyn. Laugh out loud, shaking my damn head. Yeah, I knew he was. It's because I hadn't heard.
So he's waiting for trial. So he's waiting for the trial. So he's on bond right now.
Yeah, but he did a whole lot of stuff, you know. So Kenny just says, I'm spinning again and again and again. Laugh out loud because I think he said something about you was spinning the block. Perry says, I like eating pork. That's why I can't join. Wow. The NOI. Funhaven says it's spiritual, not flesh. Easy says Ocala has some very bad racial history along with entire state of Florida. Sounds like. Mary says a lot of people read the Bible and don't understand what they are reading. That is true. Maxima says, so what he had on there, it wasn't about fruity business. So what he had on there was about fruity. Oh, so you're talking about Rizza Islam. I don't know. I didn't see it, but like I said, I know Flame and Roe is one of those people that says, hey, my community is tripping. I'm not with all of that. You know, we need to rewrite things and trans people are women. He says they're not women. We are not women, and we know that. But he also says it's an agenda that they keep pushing. And he also said, I got a son, and he says, I would not wish for my son to be gay. He says, because, or trans, he says, because I know how hard it is. But he says, we don't have the right to force our ideologies on straight people and then be mad at him, because he was on the Breakfast Club and they were talking about Bootsy. You know, Bootsy Badass was very outspoken about against the LGBT community and some of the things that they're doing. And he says, I met Bootsy. I like Bootsy. He says, I'm not mad at Bootsy. I understand where he's coming from. They are forcing an agenda and it's not right. So that, again, if you ever go see who Flame Monroe is, he's a very trans person, but he's from the old school. You know what I mean? This new stuff, yeah. So I don't know. I have to watch it and see. All right. So Sound Man, he says, best show on YouTube just because you read your audience. Hope your burst big, Miss K and Mr. Recovering. Oh, well, you know what? Thank you so much. We can't do the show without y'all. City University of New York, it says, go to the Quran and Sunnah and see what it says about transsexuals before coming up here and saying things about Allah that you don't know. I'll take that. And our brother Samuel says there is a concerted effort to destroy father-son relationship because they know it will be a father-son relationship like that of Jesus, who called God Father, that will awaken the mentally dead of our people. Yes, indeed. All right, so I'm gonna skip down a little bit because I see I got behind a little bit. Jessica, he says there are various versions of translation of the King James Bible. Sometimes that will make the difference, but the gist of it means the same. Xbox hater, how you doing? But listen, I want to say this. Y'all know we're gonna get diverted off talking about religion, and that's not really where we want to be. We want to talk about getting justice for this sister who was, deleted by what seemed to be a very racist neighbor. That's the issue at hand. I mean, everybody believes what they believe, read whatever book they gonna read. That's why me personally, I don't really get involved with religion because it is very divisive. God never asked anybody to do that, but we do that. And religion has us to say, well, we're better than you. You're not like us. You can't sit with us. But that's not, I don't think that's what God meant. Now, I know God, did not love everybody like people think, but I don't think that he meant for us to be fighting about religion.
So let me ask you a real quick question before you open up the link. So, this young mother was deleted. What do you think is justice? Because I put in the chat, is justice what is justice? You know, everybody talks justice, but is it justice or is it revenge? What do you think should happen to this woman, if anything?
Well, Demetri off of the internet, I feel very strongly about certain things. But Demetri on the internet can't say those things, right? Because again, we got to move wisely. Now, y'all know how I feel off of the internet, but on the internet, I want to say just on a very watered down level, or a very strong level, I would say that family needs justice. That woman needs to be arrested, and she needs to, if they got Capital One in Florida, and I believe that they do. In fact, they do. In fact, they said that they changed it recently that they only need 8 out of 12 jurors to convict and give the death penalty. So I believe she should be arrested, found guilty, and she should benefit from that of Capital One. That's what it was. It wasn't. I mean, you can't tell me it wasn't premeditated, because the lady came to your door. You had a lot of time to to prepare, or, hey, what's going on? No, I'm not going to open my door. Screw you. Call the police, whatever. So that was premeditated for her to see who was at the door, and then go get a gun, pick up a gun or whatever, and shoot through the door. So yeah, she needs to be dealt with legally, but off the internet. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, let's see here. Who else came on here? And Easy said Easy is 70 miles from Oconee Race Massacre. I have to look that up. Yeah, I never heard of that one. Hey, Carlos, how you doing? Yeah, that is very crazy. Yes, the death penalty. I mean, that's what they would give anybody else if they did that, right? And Shirley, you say revenge. Terry, and how you doing? It also says in the Bible, thou shalt not kill. But it also says an eye for an eye. All right, so I'm gonna skip down just a tiny bit. Corley says the same thing that happened to her white ass. Yeah, well, you know, That's Not Feeling says stay out of religion when talking about social issues. Many of us use religion to not address the problem. I totally agree with you. Buckhorse, how you doing? Shalom to you as well. Corley says she need to be deleted as well. Xbox Hater says the woman should have never took the tablet. She was expecting someone to show up because she took a little one's toy. Yeah, it wasn't like it was on her property. They said it was in a vacant field where the children often play, so it didn't belong to anybody. But somehow she went over there, took it, and you're right. It probably was being used as bait, right? Facts Not Feeling says family has to get out front and pull up. I set the tone for the Black community to follow. Yes, indeed. Easy says D in Ocala, the jury is already set for her, in my opinion, which is why they need to have it somewhere else, you know, where she's not really amongst her peers, especially if it's a small town, right?
And real quick, whatever happened to that district attorney in Georgia with the Ahmaud Arbery thing? Has she even gone to trial yet? Do you see how we just moved from tragedy to tragedy? I don't know if she's gone to trial or not.
I don't know, but I know that, you know, she had been arrested. Her name was Jackie somebody, the DA that was helping them cover it up. But of course, the men who did it, they've been tried on the state level, federal level, and they've got, you know, life sentences. They'll never get out. Brother Samuel says, you're right, Demetri. In Romans 9:13, it says, 13a, it is written, Jacob have I loved, and but Esau have I hated. So yeah, there you go. Jamarcus, how are you doing? All right, so let me go ahead and open up the link. I'll never do that if if I read all the comments. Lisa, how you doing? All right, so I'm gonna open up the link. If you guys want to come on here and quickly give a word or two about what's going on, all that I ask is, you know, just be cognizant of some of the things that you guys say, because certain things we cannot say. So just want to be clear about that. I'm gonna put the link up, and of course, if I have not seen you on here before, I just ask you that you show me your face before I bring you up on the big screen, so I can know that there's no shenanigans going on. So it's in the comment section there. Okay, so let's see here. Brother Jonell says, do unto others as you have them do unto you. What is that? Matthew, don't give me the line, but I know it's in Matthew, probably Mark and Luke as well. But yeah, that's in the Bible. Buckhorse says, I'm good, Miss K, just working. Don't work too hard there. All right, so I'll go back to some of these other comments that I skipped. Shirley said it's not murder if you kill someone that's trying to kill you. Yeah, That's self-defense. But see, that's also what they're saying the castle doctrine is about. Oh, I was afraid for my life. So I, eliminated the problem before it became a problem for me. That's what it is, right?
Oh, I thought that was the Bush doctrine. I felt you were going to attack me, so I attacked you first.
Yeah, imminent to strike, preemptive strike. That's what's the Bush doctrine. Yes. All right. So, and Mary, you say prison for life, and whoever assets she has liquidated and proceeds given to the children. Ben Crump needed for that. Yeah, they need to go after her in every way, shape, and form. Now I know they said that there is a GoFundMe. I don't know if there's been anything raised or anything like that. Joanne says, to be honest, Demetria, the Bible is called lying in wait to commit murder. She took the child's laptop and waited. Read your Bible. Yeah. Again, I'm not terribly religious at all. I do know about the Bible, a fairly good amount. The Bible is not something that I read every day, as I do not, as I say, practice religion. So occasionally I do read the Bible, though, if I'm looking up some scriptures or trying to reference something, I do. All right. So the link is in there, y'all, if y'all want to come on really quick and give a word or two. Facts Not Feelings says the only way I believe in the Bible is if American African edit to update today's times like King James did for his people, white people. Yeah, if it reflects the times, I totally agree with that. But that Bible also was used to definitely indoctrinate our people and keep us enslaved. And we are, no shade to anybody's practice of religion, to keep us enslaved. Why do you think you see a copious amount of Black people talking about, well, I forgive you. I'm doing what the Lord will want me to do. The Bible says, but as Farrakhan says, we are often forgiving people who ain't even asking for it. But we just automatically, well, the good Lord, I know I can't have peace, go to heaven unless I forgive people. It's like they ain't asking for you to forgive, to be forgiven, like Dylan Roof. He went up in South Carolina and shot 9 people in the church as they was already praying, right? Worshiping God, walked them up in there. Farrakhan talks about this beautifully. He says they walked that white boy up in the church. He had a backpack, sat him in the back, and they turned their back to him. And the next thing you know, it's horrible history. But he says they would have never allowed no Black man to come up in the church and not say, hey, what you doing here? You from around here? What's in the bag? Whatever.
You remember?
Yeah, he says that's why the Nation of Islam, if you've ever gone to any meeting, you're not going to just, hey, I'm just here to sit and see what's going on. They be like, all right, not so fast. What you going to do is you're going to let us pat you down from head to toe. You're going to turn around. We're going to do it again. Then you're going to stomp your feet a couple of times. Make sure you ain't got nothing in your shoes. We also checking all up in your bag, the baby bag and everybody else's bag, because that's just the way it is, right? You got to make sure that you're not left, exposed. But the other thing is, he said, there they are forgiving Dylan Roof, because that's the one that did it. We don't, and they didn't even want him to get the death penalty. They said, we forgive him, our Lord, we want us to forgive him. Farrakhan said, that man ain't asking y'all for forgiveness, and y'all sitting up here forgiving him? Huh?
Right. And didn't the mayor of Chicago, Mr. Brandon Mayor, whatever his name is, talk about we need to be he brought in a religious aspect to the migrants and saying that, well, we got to take care of them, we got to do for our least and all this other stuff, which is, you got to take care of home before you can take care of anybody else. I mean, golly.
Absolutely. City.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm surprised this worked. It's my first time doing this.
Don't be surprised, brother.
All right. How y'all doing?
We're doing well. What's on your mind?
So I just wanted to come up here because this is the thing, right? They up here, killing people as soon as we pull up to their door. And I talk to my homegirl about this all the time. She used to live here in New York City. She ended up moving down there to North Carolina. So I watch your show all the time. My man, Dr. Richie and everything. I watch y'all all the time. Everything that I get from up here, I send it to my homeboys and my homegirls. And my thing is this, right? We got to learn to stop being around these people. Like, under any circumstances, we ain't got no business around them at all. The thing that I was talking about, like, when they talk about, like, it was people up here saying, well, why wasn't her man there? Why didn't he go step to the people and knock on the door? Like, I hate to say this because I'm pro-Black like everybody else. That's why I'm here. But the reality is that the first time, you with your woman, whatever, she don't get her way, you start to going back and forth. It becomes like an echo chamber. You get to arguing. She get, feeling some type of way. Next thing you know, there's threats to call the police over an argument that really should have been settled. Because the reality is that once you get with me, you know pretty much what I'm on and how I'm giving it up. And either you like me or you don't, and you could go get with somebody who you like and leave me alone, or you could stay around me. But if you're around me and this is like the law of nature, like, I'm the one that's on the front lines and making the rules and everything like that for the security, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm trying to say that in the most humble way possible. You know what I mean? But my whole thing is that the moment, your own woman starts circumventing your strength and start putting you on the line and putting you, behind a gun line with the popo and everything like that, you ain't going to have no power, and you ain't going to want to be around nobody that every time you say something, they got something to say about it. And then that's why nobody want to protect nobody. It's the real truth. You know what I mean? You in New York City, it's bad now. You can't even say good morning to a woman. Hey, good morning, sister. They look at you like you crazy. Even a good-looking dude like me, they look at me like I'm crazy. And then God forbid something happened to him, they looking at you while you ain't doing nothing. I mean, you just was talking nasty to me. I don't owe you nothing. But that's something that we got to fix in our own community. You know what I mean? Like, even when it come down to, our communities being bad, we got to start stepping up. Me, the brother right there, we got to start stepping up and putting these dudes in their place. These young brothers that ain't got no pops and all that, we got to start, laying the discipline game down. That's just how it go.
Well, I'm going to say this. And, the calling the whole police thing, like I said, it's problematic on a whole lot of levels, because indeed there are a lot of cases where the police need to be called, right?
That's true.
And then so there's
call the brothers though. Call the brothers and that's the problem. That's what I was talking about, the brotherhood. You understand? If we had adequate brotherhood, it'd be dudes checking dudes when they was out of line with their woman and being abusive. But arguments and everything like that, when you can't get your way, that's not what the popo for. Because all they're going to come do is use that opening as so yeah, you got, and then something else too about what them other dudes doing too. Because they don't just stop with what that dude did, and now it's on to what that other dude down there, about that? Because we helped you, remember? It go into that. So, they find a way to navigate and get into our neighborhoods and start, whispering and holding secrets over people who I'm telling you. Next thing you know, they got to end with you. And, next thing you know, God forbid, now they with your girl and everything. You got to be careful with these popo, man, because they don't love none of us.
Well, you know what, though? You said a word. It is going to take the brothers to check the brothers. And I'm glad you said that, City, because I often say that a lot of times, especially on this thing we call the internet, we always see the women getting admonished, and y'all need to do this, y'all need to do that. And I'm like you always say, it's going to take the men to check the men. Let us women, because I know how to be a woman and I know how to speak to women. Let us deal with the women and y'all go deal with the men. But like you said, if the men would step up and say, man, you're going to have to deal with us. If we hear that you're giving, your woman a hard time, or you doing this, that, and the other, if they knew that, then yeah, they would think twice. And to your point, we wouldn't have the need for the call of police, because we are doing what they call community policing. Oh, yes, you got a problem with old boy? All right, bet. We gonna come see about him. We gonna rearrange his understanding. The first time we gonna be nice about it. The second time we might not be, and that's how we solve our own problems.
And I don't mean to cut you off, sis, Demetria, but like community intervention in beefs. You understand? Because this is the thing, right? If I'm going with a woman, right, and I'm ducking her family, I'm ducking her friends, then I probably don't got good interest and good intentions from the get-go.
You better tell
them. If I'm open with the family, as soon as I have a beef, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to your mother about it, or I'm going to your brother about it. That right there is supposed to be how it's done, because there's no way in the world that we're supposed to be having disagreements between one another as men and women and everything like that. And it ain't nobody there that can intervene. It ain't nobody there that could say, you know what, we're going to mediate and work this out, man. Because at the end of the day, we all we got. When the popo come busting their gun and shooting us down and everything like that, the only ones marching for us is us.
You said a word. You said a word. But you know what, though? You're absolutely right. It's going to take us to check us. And the other thing I would say, too, I'm reading a book that it really ain't for me, but I'm reading it. We can, as women, read it, but it's called, y'all might have heard of it, The Way of the Superior Man. And it's a book talking to men. And in this book, he basically says most women act the way they do is because they don't feel loved. It's not about buying her stuff, this, that, and the other. He says something for a lot of women. It's true. I'm going to speak from a woman's point of view. Just let us know you love us. I know I've been busy. I'm working. I'm getting it. But listen, I love you. He says, but if you've done all you can do as a man to show her that you love her, you appreciate her, and she still ain't acting right, he says, let her go.
Right.
You cannot
I
fix
agree.
her. She is up to her to fix herself. So in a lot of those cases, men, and I'm speaking to the men from what I'm learning and understanding, is you're holding on too long to a woman who don't want to get in line or, you know, be in a relationship with you. And as they say in the nation, that is why you take the relationship to court. Like you said, who her people is. Now, I know that's grammatically incorrect, but who is her people? Who are her friends? Have you talked to her mama, her daddy, or whatever to see what stock she comes from? Or as I heard a pastor say, he told women, he said, don't be with a man who is not held accountable to another man, whether it's his father, a friend, uncle, a pastor, because men need somebody to say, hey, homeboy, you moving to the left just a little too far.
Yeah,
Come
you ain't
on
living
back.
right.
Right. Or you will not cheat on your woman. You got a good woman at home. You can't come and tell me that because
Right.
I'm going to tell on you, you know?
Right.
Wait.
Mhm.
Wait, but wasn't there a movie that did that? Wasn't that in Goodfellas where he said Jimmy was like, "Hey, you got to go back to your wife. You're messing it up for me and everything else." He's like, "You can go home."
Right. Oh, you talking about a Goodfellas? Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
do. He did tell me you got to go back home. Yeah. Yep.
Yep, he sure did. That was Ray Liotta's character.
Yep. So I just came up here to salute y'all and get with y'all and everything like that. I love your show. Love you too, my brother. Like, I'm gonna keep watching everything like that. Every time you get it, you open up the opportunity. I'm gonna try to get on with y'all every now and then.
Thank you. We love it.
All
Appreciate you. We need your wisdom. Come back and see us more often.
Yes, ma'am.
All righty. Bye-bye.
All right.
Yeah, you know, when he said that reminded me of Goodfellas. I was like, wait, I've heard that before. You know, even gangsters was like, look, you got to go home. You're gonna make it right. You're gonna do the right thing. Get rid of your side piece, whatever, and go home. You know, and you know, the brother was absolutely right. I wholeheartedly agree in that aspect of what and everything he said.
I really dig that East Coast swagger. New York in the building. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And he's right. It's going to take men to check men. And as y'all always say, women need to hold the women accountable. It's absolutely true. We got to hold each other accountable. But like you said, until we start doing that, the police is always going to come up in there. Like you said, they're looking for a reason to come up in the neighborhood. What y'all Negroes doing around here, you know? But we need to learn how to police ourselves. That's just like the crime and stuff in our community. We know it's not all our fault. We know they suck the resources out of there. You know, people look for other things to do. But there should be no reason why the elder cannot sit on their porches or women can't walk to the store in broad daylight. Children can't be outside without, you know, a bullet going by their head. There's no reason, because if the men will step up and make a presence in the neighborhood, be like, oh, you would like to snatch people's purses? Okay, bet. Don't let us catch you out because we're going to deal with you. So if they knew that was going on, they would think twice. So that needs to happen. We need the men to say, all right, we on deck. And I do know that in a lot of other communities like Detroit, Chicago, and, you know, some other communities as well, New Era Detroit, New Era Chicago, the men are doing just that. They're like, nah, we're not putting up with it. We're looking for you. So.
Yeah, you know, and you think about it, you brought up a good point in regards to the domestic violence, be it you're married, common law, whatever, doesn't matter. When it comes to our community, if you look at the numbers, they're not just going to take that one person in a lot of cases. Now, it seems to me in the situations that I've seen, they're taking both participants in mutual combat. And then when they take both participants in mutual combat, what happens to the children? The children go to the state until the whole thing is resolved. So that's another way of breaking up the family and becoming dysfunctional. So good point.
Yeah, you know, I'm reading y'all comments. I'm just looking. Again, let me put the link in the comment section if y'all want to come on and briefly give your opinion. I just put it there. Again, if I haven't seen you before, just show me your face. If y'all want to add something to the chat. I'm reading y'all comments. I'm reading. Oh God, a lady said they love y'all know we gonna behave today, right? We're not getting into no gender wars. We're gonna have a nice conversation. We're gonna try.
Yes, Demetra took me to the side Sunday and let us say I'm on my best behavior today.
Yes, Donovan and I had a nice little conversation. here, sucker.
Fellas, ladies are always right on their show. They're always right. Just nod your head. Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes, yes.
Again, I'm just looking at the comments. Ataya, you say this is all good, but we are speaking in terms of then and not now. The dynamics have changed. The thinking has changed. What can be done to change the thinking? Therefore, the actions. We need to start educating the people that are closer to us. As a woman, I have a daughter that's a woman. It's my duty to teach her and all of the other women that I am influential over in their lives. And I have a lot of young women that I know and ask me for advice all the time. And, you know, I do my best to advise them. Someone who was like a stepdaughter to me, she has a daughter and she bought her daughter a fish. And she said, she kept telling her, no, you can't have a fish. No, you can't have a fish. No, you can't have a fish because you're not going to take care of the fish. Well, she, you know, buckled in or whatever, broke down, brought the fish. Now, the daughter is not taking care of the fish. She's 9. So, you know, she's going to hit and miss with that. So she says, what should I do? Should I give the fish away? Or, you know, should I just sit back and see what happens? I said, well, and see, and let her learn her lesson. I said, she can't learn a lesson. She ain't being taught. I said, you got to teach her follow through. I said, she's 9. So she going to do what 9-year-olds do. Maybe I'll feed the fish. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll clean the tank. Maybe I won't. I said, but you need to tell her, go get the fish stuff to clean the tank and be with her on every step and make sure she follows through. And then I also said, some of this is for you to own. You said no to the fish and you buckled in. So yeah, you got to own some of that. You can't just let her do what it do. So I wasn't, you know, one of those people like, well, you know, you're trying the best you can. And just, I told her, nah, you got to own some of that too. But you got to teach your daughter the right things to do. You can't just tell her. You got to actually be active, right? So we that's how we do it. We start really working with the people we know. I don't want to say it's that simple, but it's a start. Mike says, my dad held his brother accountable when he was going to cheat on my auntie. He made him feel so low. He stayed faithful since then. Yeah, that's how it is. Man, don't come over here talking about you finna go off on a rendezvous with another woman and not know your wife. She a good woman. She at home. She cooking and she taking care of you. You don't want for nothing. You talking about tricking off with some woman you don't even hardly know who ain't gonna do nothing for you and you gonna mess up what you got. I will not co-sign on that. And I saw Kevin Samuels one time he did a show. He said he told his homeboy, I'll tell on you. Man, get the hell out of my face talking about you cheating on your woman. You got a good woman at home, go home. If you don't, I'm going to tell her. It needs to be that serious. Customer service busters. How you doing? He says, and none of this stuff out here means anything when kids' mom never coming home again. Look, you don't knock on doors or have your kids on these people's property. Yeah, you know, my mom used to always say hindsight is 20/20. Looking back, now you know what to do. But unfortunately, that dear woman is not here anymore. And I agree with you. You know, we should not be knocking on the doors of people who are very cantankerous in the community. It's just not wise to do. But I get it. Her natural instinct was, I'm a mom. I'm going to make sure that my child gets his property back. Who does she think she is? You know, I get it, you know, because I was, you know, am and was very protective of my daughter. So I get it. Quita, how you doing? All right, I'm just skipping down so I can catch up a little bit. Daryl, how are you doing? He says Pine Tops, North Carolina. All right now. All right. And City says, yeah, they want you to forgive them for everything, but they won't give you a pass for anything. They running boss game with that forgiveness doctrine. Yeah, because, you know, most people say, well, if you don't forgive, you ain't going to heaven. Well, can you tell me anybody who's been and said, oh, it's wonderful there. You must go. You must come to heaven. And let me shut up. I'm about to get in trouble. Let me shut up. See, I know when the bud in my mouth, as it says in the Bible, what it say, saying more than yea and nay will lead you to sin. So I'm going to shut my mouth, okay? Because I know some of y'all be like, that's messed up. I skipped up a little bit. I don't want to skip too many comments. Where did it go? Mary says, young women learn best from observation. Yeah, you can't. Rain, you crazy. You talking about fry that fish. she was talking about just letting it go on the glory. I said, well, the fish didn't deserve. It didn't ask to be here. So I don't think you should let the fish just die. Teach your daughter how to properly deal with the fish. I said, because what you do is you teach her to give up on everything else in life. If I don't want it, I just get rid of it. I said, no, you need to teach her you want it and you deal with it until further notice. But I said, just expect for her to just do the right thing. She's not going to do that. She's 9. So Shirley says, brothers and sisters, we can make this work by starting with the young ones in our neighborhoods. Yep. And if you got kids in your home, start with them. D. Griffin says it's about the children. When we don't correct them, that's a failure. Yeah, we have to. Atalia says, I do that. Others do that, teaching, advising. There's more to it. Well, as I always say, everybody would do that in their home. Then it would spread. It would just be automatic out in the world, right? If we teach and teach, morals, values, and everything else in between, I just think it'd be a given that society would be a lot better off. But I say this, unfortunately, people just having kids, making sure they eat, have nice clothes, and that's it. Not instilling anything in them anymore. I'm not saying that for all parents, but a lot of parents, they just, long as they don't die, long as they survive, then I did my job. Like, no, you got to actually teach them something, Simone says, you did it right. Then Donovan, so many people owe this past tax season. Okay, and Mr. X, how you doing? Says the recovering Democrat. I like that name. Al Jackson, how you doing? Says 30,000 has been raised in the GoFundMe. Oh, good. So I'm glad that people are raising money. But hell, when white supremacy do stuff, they did shoot that devil that killed the brother in the subway, and forgive me, Jordan Neely, I think his name was Jordan Neely. Shoot, he got well over $2 million, and they got that in no time for his defense and all of that. So $30,000 is good. But I think we can do better. And I'm personally going to go and donate to the GoFundMe when I get off of here.
Yeah. And another thing is, and I know you guys get tired of us saying this and all this other stuff, but the number one, 70% of what is it, Demetra, white people, where most of their wealth comes from is insurance. They insure themselves. I know y'all got y'all weed. Y'all got y'all tequila and all this other stuff and things you want to do. But for what, $20, $30 of an insurance, just in case. Like I said, we know this was a tragic accident, but at the same time, not to have insurance in case something does happen, especially as parents, especially you moms, you guys are the center of the family. You definitely got to have insurance on yourself. If anything happens to you, it's a wrap for your kids. So we really got to start insuring ourselves so that everything could be taken care of and our loved ones could go on and go to college and be that great thing that they're supposed to be, that great legacy that we leave behind.
Yeah, and I don't know the situation with the mom, if she had life insurance or not. So, maybe she didn't, but GoFundMe, $30,000 is nothing, for 4 children. Now, I don't know where the father is. But those children won't have a mom, and she has a toddler too. So I think they went up from like 3 to the age of 13. But yeah, keeping in that same vein, we do need life insurance. We need to insure the life. We have this conversation a lot. We need to get insurance on ourselves, our children, and your mama and your daddy. Because a lot of times your parents, you think they're okay, and you never had that conversation. Hey, mom. Hey, dad. You got life insurance? No, baby, I ain't had no life insurance in a minute. Okay, bet. We're going to go to the life insurance company or whatever, call life insurance man or woman out here. We're going to get you some insurance so that, God forbid, when that day happens, it's not a burden on anybody. We can take care of it and do what we got to do. See, problem in our community, too, is a lot of times we have too many unsaid conversations that we need to have. And the other part of that, too, is a lot of times, that ain't your business. Don't worry about what I got going on. Just know that I got what I need. And those be the main mofos be pushing up daisies. And then they talk about, child, her life insurance policy, it lapsed a long time ago. So don't be those people where it ain't your business. You have children, share that information with your children. Hey, baby, this is what my life insurance policy is. Something happened to me. It's up here in the top shelf of the closet, blah, blah, blah. Let them know, because a lot of times, too, people searching. Well, I know mama said she had it or daddy got it. but I don't know where it is. So stop, everything ain't your business. Stop it. Brother Don, I'm gonna bring you up. What's going on with you?
That was tragic. That was tragic. I just heard about that this morning. My nephew called me and said, "Hey, did you hear about that?" And I'm like, "No, what are you talking about?" And my heart goes out to the family. Um, and like Donovan was saying, talking about men. Well, we already know the answer to that question. And it's unfortunate because I'll tell you, if that was the mother of my child, oh, you would see me in the public. I'd be leading the turn up group, and I'm not talking about what you put in a pot and cook. Um, and I think they should apply pressure. These people are gonna. Oh man, this is a trip because it's gonna keep happening and it's gonna get worse because in this time the love of many is gonna wax cold. And we have to understand that these people are our perpetual, eternal enemies. Now, Demetri was saying that she's not religious. Don P ain't religious either. I don't go to nobody's church. I don't believe in their gods. And I'm gonna tell you something else. When people understand the truth and they start walking in the truth, you will find out. Oh, you'll see the changes that you want to see. You'll see the changes you want to see. See, let me tell you something. Religion was created to control the masses. And religion was the modern day religion we're in right now was created by the Roman Catholic Church shortly after all the original founders of the assembly, the called out assembly, after they had gone. So then they started manipulating those books that you guys call your Bibles. They started manipulating those for control. Now, America was a special breed because they chopped it down really to control us after they beat out of us our language, our culture, and our history. But if you read that book, that says that's what's going to happen to a certain people.
I, yeah, I mean, and like I
Yeah.
said, I get it. I get the whole. Let me put you on mute because sometimes when we talk, it's a bit little. I get the whole religion aspect of it. I really do, but everybody don't subscribe to the Bible. And I do tend to think that we throw religion. Not saying you or anybody else, but we do tend to throw religion in when it's not really necessarily a conversation. Now, I believe in God. Don't get me wrong, I do, but I think a lot of times when we talk about religion, it throws it off track. Religion has nothing to do with this woman's family getting justice for what happened to her, whether it's prophesied in the Bible or any of that stuff. She needs justice. And I think at some point in time, we as Black people need to stop muddying the waters with everything other than, because we just get distracted everywhere. We're talking about, not you, Don, but I'm just saying religion and this and that and that. That woman's family needs justice, period, regardless. And there were a lot of, pastors at the, press conference, and they was giving rebel rousing speeches, but they all at the end of the day said that her family needs justice. And that, I think that's where we should really, as you would say, land the plane.
No, justice is absolutely what her family needs. And my thing is this: they deserve the justice, the kind of justice that the Most High talks about, and not this justice of man. The justice, the justice of man, it allows some to get away with, while others are punished to the maximum extent of the law, and then you find out later they weren't even the person that did it. So if we're going to talk about justice, let's talk about real justice. And the thing about it is that whole forgiveness thing, what did I tell you? That's the manipulation and control. It ain't no such thing. It only that forgive That is to a specific people. That's not directed to the whole world. That is to a specific people, your brother and your sister. That, and I'm not talking about in Jesus. No, I'm talking about your real heritage. That's who you're supposed to forgive. But you forgive everybody else, and you're going right after that Negro. Oh, that Negro, I got to get him now. That's you see how upside down we're thinking is. That's why we're destroyed as a people. It says my people perish for the lack of knowledge. I'll land there.
And wait a minute now. Yeah, see, people always forget the second part of that. What does the second part say? My people were destroyed for the lack of knowledge and what?
I said my people perish for the lack of knowledge.
And what?
But
And
you
then
got to know what the knowledge. You got to know what the knowledge is that he's talking about.
But what does it say right after that?
Oh, well, I have to jump into the verse.
It says, and their rejection of truth. So not only do they perish because they don't have.
I'm gonna double check that. I'm gonna double check that.
Yeah, not just because they don't have the truth, but then when they get the truth, they reject it. So that verse is two-sided. Because oftentimes we say that our people perish for the lack of knowledge. The other part says in the rejection of truth. So
that's deep. That's deep. No, that's really deep because the thing is you have to say what is truth. That question had been asked too. What is truth? And there's an answer for what truth is. And that wraps up the whole thing because like you said, and they reject the truth. Now let me see here. I want to just verify that.
Like I said, y'all know I don't go to church, but I do know the Bible, and I got a daddy that's FOI till he died since he was the age of 19. And one thing he gonna make sure I know is the word and how to apply it. I'm telling you, my dad be on my bumper. He'd be like, getting them books. So, I got that directly from my father because he always talks about, how people say, oh, our people perish. Not saying you, Don, but I'm saying, we perish for, a lack of knowledge. But what does the other part of that scripture, after that say? Because we reject the truth. And you'll find that in every aspect of the Black community where truth is going forward, it's being rejected. Hey, Black people, the Democrats ain't your friends. They did A, B, C, and D, Kamala and Joe, and they the godfather of the crime builder. Well, I don't care. That's rejection of truth. And then what? We perish because not only do we don't have the knowledge, but when we get it, it's like, I don't want it. I reject it. So that's why I said too, I get it. We be all off into the Bible. That's why I always say people read the Bible, talk the whole Bible.
I'm gonna have to dig a little more into that because that's not what I'm seeing.
Well, I can say this.
My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge because you've rejected knowledge. I will also reject you, that you may be no priest to me, because you have forgotten your Alua. You've forgotten your Alua's law. I will also forget your children.
So where do we?
I'm sure there's. I'm going to keep looking to see, but that one and another one came up, and the other one had to do with it was in Isaiah. But yeah, people don't really know. People don't really know. They don't read. They just listen to what pastor says, and pastor don't really know because if you don't know who you are,
y'all want to talk the Bible? What is this? Is it 2 Timothy 2:15? What does that scripture say?
Let me grab a seat.
Go ahead, flip your Bible, brother. Flip your Bible.
Let me grab a seat real quick here.
While we're waiting for that, there's also another powerful thing that your dad said to me when I was trying to get with your sister. You're not fit to walk amongst men.
That's right.
Holding men accountable. Yeah.
He said, carry your ass up out of here.
I could not get with his daughters if I ain't got myself together. I was not fit to walk among men. And then I think he said he called me no account.
No, he didn't do none of that. But you would have
This is a deep chapter. You have to read the whole chapter to get to that 15th verse to really understand, because you have to understand that verse within its context.
Well, what does it say, brother?
Well, it says that he was spiritual. I just hung up the book. Just set it down. After I read it, it was like, oh, that's going to be too deep to get into, because then we're going to be talking for a minute.
We don't have
Okay,
to.
but it does say, uh, Second Timothy,
I think that's the scripture
2
2
and
and
15. Second Timothy 2 and 15. I just read. Okay. It's like
Donovan,
that from a child you have known the holy scriptures, which are able to make you wise unto Yeshua through faith, which is in Yeshua HaMashiach. Is that the one
no,
you're talking about, or was it first? It might have been first.
and maybe it's first. You know, like I said, I don't know all the Bible like that, but I know where I'm going with it. So let me double check. There's a point that I'm drawing here, so y'all don't think this is for nothing. Okay, let's see.
Let me see here.
That
Study
ain't
to
it.
show you. Okay, 2 and 15. No, 2 and 15 is study yourself.
Go ahead. Go with it. What did you say now?
Study to show yourself approved unto Elohim, or Alua, a workman that need not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth.
What scripture was that?
That's Second Timothy. Yeah, 2 Timothy 2:15.
Right. I knew I was on. So basically,
Yeah, I was looking. And yeah, we all have to do that. We have to study, because some of us, called to be watchmen. Some are called to be teachers. Really studying to show yourself approved. Like, I'm going to start studying Paleo Hebrew through my moray and reading the text in its original form, because English, it can totally distort the whole meaning of what is being said or being translated. You really got to go into the original language to find out what certain words are, because in English, there's certain things that you do that cast a spell.
Yes, I know all that, but I think the premise is the main point is, like you said, a lot of times pastors be all up in the church saying whatever the case is. That's why the Bible. That's why I said I know when people don't read the Bible, because I don't know if y'all know it or not. I got 2 degrees from a Baptist university. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it at that. Plus, I spent the copious amount of time in church, born into the Nation of Islam. I had 2 very wise parents, so I can always tell when a person does not read the Bible. And so, yes, you have no business being in the church if you don't know the Bible yourself, because a lot of times pastors don't even open up the Bible no more. They up in there hemming and hawing and hopping all around and all kind of stuff, and they know that the congregation 9 times out of 10 ain't gonna open their Bible either. But the Bible tells you, and I'm gonna break that scripture down. Damn, what he talking about? You better know what I'm talking about. Depending on who you believe wrote that Bible, I have the word, not that pastor. So you should be sitting in those pews saying, well, that ain't biblical. You talking about hanging from the chandeliers and giving you all my money? Tell me in the Bible where it says that. So that's why it says that you should study to show thyself approved, rightfully dividing the word of truth, making sure that what you are hearing out of that pulpit is actually the truth. Which is why if our people that went over there to Guyana with Jim Jones, had they even just read that scripture, they wouldn't have taken their asses over there and drank that Kool-Aid. I'm a land plane there.
Preach.
Collection plate. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so check this out. No, see now I try to be a Berean, because the Bereans, Acts 17:11, were more noble than most. They would go home and check to see if what Pastor Pokechop said was correct. Man, it's like, and see, this is how these people get them. This is how Pastor Brooklyn can sport all that stuff and show off his closet and all that, because with a man rob God. Well, hold up, time out there, Pastor. Didn't you say that? Don't you teach that Jesus said that he did away with the law, or Paul or somebody. You ain't got to follow the law no more. So why are you asking me for 10%? That's not required of me anymore. Why are you all up in my pocket?
But again, and we gonna get ready to get on out of here again. I don't blame the pastor. I don't blame him. I blame the people in the church. If they was if people would just know that scripture alone, then they would say, I hear what he's saying. But him and his wife got on some gators and then fur coats and new Bentleys and all this other stuff. Where does it say I need to be paying for that? Now, it does say in the Bible that the church does need to take care of their pastor. So it does not say the pastor should be a pauper. It says that the people should take care of them. However, that's because the pastor is doing a good deed by the flock. So it is biblical to take care of your pastor. But come on now, it also tell you to use common sense. So don't be mad at the pastor that he run around in gators and all kind of stuff. Be mad at your black ass for not knowing the word, dividing the word of truth, and saying, I'm not going to give you another dime until I see my neighborhood is up and running. Hell, if you ask me, instead of giving your 10%, let's say you make $100,000 a year, you're going to give what? You're going to give what? $10,000 to the church? To me, it sounds like you could take that $10,000 and put it directly into the neighborhood or give it to somebody directly who needs it. That's just me. But again, if people don't read the Bible, and that's why I say a lot of times I be up here, I don't really say much because I don't like to get into religion, but I can always tell when a person don't read the Bible just by the things they say and the things that they do.
Yep. And the thing about it is, I'm off that religious tip. Just can't be on the religious tip because then you're following this man-made system that was designed to basically control you and ultimately, if you one of us, destroy you. So, but that word is very important, but you got to try to get the purest words you can get you tools to help you break it down so you really understand what it is that you're reading. And I land there.
Yeah, I thank you so much, Brother Don. We're going to go ahead and get out here in the next 5 minutes. To me, it's common sense. A lot of stuff is common sense. I think a lot of times religion convolutes stuff. Be a good person, do good to people. And if you believe in the laws of the universe, the Bible, they're all one and the same. Do what you put out there will come back to you. And why is that so hard? We convolute things in the name of God. God ain't asking you to be doing all that. He said, what? What did God say that he is not? See, I feel I'm open me a church. I could do it. I'm going to open up me a church. God says, I am not the author of confusion. What does religion do? It confuses people. So that is in direct opposition to what God said he is not. But man takes it upon themselves to come up with all these scriptures. And a lot of times when people use the Bible, I'm not saying you, Brother Don, but I'm saying a lot of people, they use it to indict other people instead of saying, what does it say about the log in your eye? Basically, worry about yourself. Stop worrying about everybody else. But see, that's why I say I don't really get into religion because it's, as they say in the nation, it's a lot of technology in religion. It just really is. So my theory is be a good person. Do unto other people as you would want them to do unto you. Cause no harm. That is my motto. I go to about my day. I try my best not to intentionally harm other people. I'm very cognizant of that. I don't want to harm other people intentionally, but I'm gonna tell you like this. You know how many times I've been harmed by a person in the name of God? You know how many times somebody's done something to me who, probably mean on a tambourine up in the church, and they done did something to me, things I'll never forget. In the name of God. And because they talk about I'm a Christian, I go to church. But look at the things you do to people and you justify that. So as a pastor that I studied up under years ago, he's no longer here. He says, if you a Christian and you ain't acting right, don't tell people you a Christian. Because what you will do is you'll turn people away from God just because of how you behave. So keep your mouth shut about what it is you're doing until you get your walk right. And that's what we see now. So I don't know. I ain't trying to preach to y'all. I really ain't. But I'm just saying, let's get some understanding. You know what I mean? Anyway.
Yeah, no, I mean, if we didn't have them dramas, if we didn't have that, if people would obey, we wouldn't have these problems in our community. We really wouldn't. This just curses. So anyway, love you, Demetri. I'm going to get out of here and let the people get out of here. And Donovan can go get some chicken. Hey, I'll catch up with you soon. We got to catch up when you come back to Cali. 3 of us go have coffee or something. All right, y'all.
All right. Bye-bye. Yes, indeed. I love talking about the Bible every once in a while, you know. Like I said, y'all don't know what people be knowing. I know a little, not able to tell you. I know a little bit about the Bible and how it works, just a little bit. But yeah, it's all about knowing. My father says that a lot, and as I say, he's Nation of Islam. It's all about knowing. It ain't what you know; it's what you could prove. A lot of people, talk a lot of stuff. Well, back it up. Back it up. Don't sit up and tell me what you think and what you heard about. Just show me. To back it up with something, so I can say, well, yeah, all right. As they say, do the math. I get it. We people go to church, and I'm not trying to discourage you from that, because I do believe that the church is helpful to a lot of people. There's a lot of people, if it was not for the church, they would be very bad off. And I'm not even to say that all churches are bad. They are not. But I'm saying a lot of times people come up out of those churches, and if you're not careful, the Bible and what you do with the Bible, and y'all gonna trip out when I tell you this. If you're not very careful, you can actually use it as witchcraft. Because a lot of times people use the Bible to manipulate, and they do it not for good, they do it for evil. And that's how it becomes witchcraft. Well, the Lord told me to tell you this about you, and if you don't do this, it says in the Bible, you're going to hell if you. That's manipulative. And a lot of times people are telling you about the Bible because they're trying to get you to do something you don't want to do. And if somebody comes up to you and says, well, God told me to tell you, say, that's funny. He ain't told me nothing. He ain't told me that. When was I going to get the memo? You know what I mean? Because people know, a lot of times people are like, oh, he did. What did he say? Let me ask you this. Did he give you the lotto numbers? Did he tell you I was going to hit the lotto? Let me shut up before I get in trouble. Anyway, y'all. Yeah, it's witchcraft when people manipulate the word of God, because what you end up doing is you harm other people, and you throw them off of their walk just by you being manipulative. So be very careful, because if you believe what that says in that Bible, and you are a Christian, you will be held to a higher standard, because God expects more from you. So do not use and abuse people in the name of God. You will pay for that. So anyway, we about to get on out of here. Love and appreciate y'all dearly. Again, let's try to get justice for Sister Ajike Owens, as she was taken out of here from her 4 children. It sounds like there's a GoFundMe. Let's try to get her and her children or her family, some help. And let's not let her death be in vain, even though I really hate to say that. As I said, it's Breonna Taylor's 30th birthday, from what I understand. Sister never really got justice. And don't ever think that because the family got money, that was justice. The family deserves money, and they deserve justice. Because a lot of times we run around saying, well, they should have took no money. Oh, they should have taken no money. Yes, they should have. They need to be paid in financially for what was done to their loved one. They need money and they need justice. Don't ever confuse the two for one or the other. They need both. So we're going to follow the story and see what happened. But anyway, we love and appreciate you guys dearly for tuning in. Ali says that's why Mark Jackson has not been hired as an NBA yet, because he was in there, they're preaching to people. They're like, we ain't here for that. We're here to play ball. We want to go to church with you. We go to church with you, right? So anyway, we'll see y'all later. Peace.